Morning guys, welcome to What a Load of Bull, and I think this is episode 18. We're about 2 months on from when I uploaded anything last, so sorry for the lack of videos. The countdown or lead up to the dyno day was pretty hectic. A lot of the footage I got wasn't very good. I was rushed and a bit scatty trying to get everything done. So yeah, I kind of stopped on that, but I will go back through, see if there's anything that's any use to share. Today we're troubleshooting the car not starting. It's not actually moved for a couple of weeks. It has been running great on the new ECU, although it hasn't made it on the dyno yet. We've been having a few troubles starting to do with trigger issues. Now, oddly, before I committed to putting in the new ECU, it stopped starting on the OEM. Okay, so I did the timing, I got all the base timing set for the new ECU, disconnected my harness and the ECU master, and since then the car's not started on the OEM ECU. Now, strangely, it started and ran fine on the black. Although, like I said, I have had problems with trigger issues and I have had to use a laptop to start it every time. Now, a fortnight ago I was trying to troubleshoot that. My gut feeling was that it was the other cam sensor, the one over in this corner, so replaced that, put it all back together, and then it wouldn't start on the black. So I tried it back on OEM, still wouldn't start. Been doing testing voltages at the injector harness, and I had this weird 6 volts coming on the side which I thought should be 0 volts with the ignition on, and it seems to be coming from the LPG ECU. Now, I'm not sure whether this is connected, whether it's a separate issue, or whether it's absolutely nothing to worry about, but what I want to do is eliminate the LPG just to simplify what's going on here. So did kind of do a bit of a bodge with that last weekend. It was raining, it didn't seem to make any difference, and obviously that's a bit of a crude way to do it. So what I'm going to do is, in this heat wrap down here is where we've done all the taps and splices for the injectors. This is done by one of my friends who installs LPG, and he's a solder guy, so I'm not a solder guy. What I'm going to do today to start with is to put some MetriPack connectors on the injector's harness so that I can disconnect LPG stuff from here, and in theory everything is running straight off the factory loom then, albeit with an extra connector in there. Something I've noticed today is the battery isn't charging, so this could all be down to a duff battery, and that's only something I've really noticed today. Fortunately, I have bought another car, so I have got something running which I can jump start from. So yeah, first things first, get these connectors on, try jump starting it. Then the other thing or the only thing which I've not tried is the plugs. So if you remember, I put in new plugs before we did this, and although they run fine, they are a completely different heat range. And I don't know, just got a gut feeling that it could be that it doesn't like the new plugs. So I'm going to take them out, compare them to the old ones. They might have a slightly different thread length and not be far enough into the head, or I don't know. While I've got the plugs out and I plan them off again, I'm going to do a compression test. I borrowed a gauge from work. I also borrowed an automotive scope as well, so I'm going to scope the injectors just to make sure that they are doing what they should do. I'm going to put the old plugs back in, try and jump start it again, and then I might pop down to Halfords and get another battery anyway, because this doesn't seem to be charging, and I have run it flat a lot lately. So wish me luck, enjoy the ride, let's see how we go. Right, so it's these joints here that I'm about to cut out and then replace with connectors. It's not that I don't trust my mate's handiwork, because I know that he's brilliant at what he does, but I just feel like eliminating the gas altogether is a good idea. So that's what I'm going to do. While being in here, I have actually found a little nick in one of the sheathing for one of them, so I'll get that re-insulated, put a bit of heat shrink or insulation tape on that. But yeah, I want to get rid of these solder joints and get some crimps on there, which will then get rid of the gas stuff. So, right, got all my connectors done eventually. So I'm now going to go and get a new battery, because I'm not getting anything when I'm turning the key, and with the charger on it, it doesn't seem to be charging. So I know that I've run it flat a few times, so I think it's probably had enough. From memory, there's a date on there which is about 10 years old anyway. So yeah, gonna go and get a new battery and then continue. Right, new battery in. This one's meant for a 350Z. I had to do some modifications to the clamps with everything that I could buy from Halfords on a Sunday. So I've got these are both wing nut terminals, so they clamp on quite nicely. I drilled out the bracket which goes on here, so that fits over there. That's all nice. Then on this side, I've actually wound some really thick copper solid core just to give that a bit more of a clamp. I'll probably replace this one with one which is meant to clamp on, or maybe change this lead altogether, but for now that should work. Before I went to Halfords to get the battery, I got this all sorted. I realise it's a bit messy at the moment, but for testing purposes that should be fine. So gonna give it a crank now, see what happens. So still no bueno. Ooh. So this is what it was doing before. Hopefully that was enough to throw a code, and that might give me a bit of an inkling, but if it doesn't, I'm just going to continue with my swapping over the spark plugs plan. Well, I'm in the car and it's running. Hey! Stoked. Didn't even need to get too far into the list. Big thanks to my lad Rupert, so thank you Ru, I'm calling it, he fixed it. I did the connectors for the gas, we went and got a new battery, then I took everything apart to get ready to do the plugs, and I was scoping the injectors while Rupert turned the key, and it all fired up. So I'm not really sure exactly why it wasn't starting, but I think it could have been the plenum spacer that I fitted, or like a major leak in the plenum or something like that, or the crankcase vent pipe had a big slit in it, so could have been that. I'm not entirely sure, but we are running on stock. That's the first time it's run on the stock ECU for 2 months at least. Just been for a drive, it's all working good. So later on in the week I will start plugging things back in, and hopefully we can get back onto the ECU Master Black, and then we can finally hit the dyno. So big thanks to everyone that's helped me out along the way. Grant at GBE for all the advice, Ben, Justin, everyone else, especially thanks to Rupert for giving me a hand today and starting the car for the first time in a couple of weeks. So that's the end of this episode. I will hopefully catch you soon, possibly when we hit the dyno. Right, welcome back guys. It's about 2 weeks from when I filmed last, and I was celebrating. Afraid that was a short-lived victory. Ran fine on the OEM ECU that week. I took it to get washed on the Tuesday, drove to work and back on the Wednesday. I hooked up the ECU Master Wednesday night in the gas, all good, did quite a few miles retuning it. All was seeming good until Thursday morning that week, and then it wouldn't start. So I've been troubleshooting again. I'm at a bit of a loss. Obviously I thought that it was a big air leak which was causing all the problems, but it appears that wasn't the case, or I've created another air leak, not sure yet. I swapped out the throttle body, that didn't make any difference. I've been checking voltages everywhere and everything seems good. I took the plugs out, and only observation really was that the ones on this bank were black and moist, like really fouled up with fuel. The ones on this side were black but sooty and dry. So whether something's stopping it from firing on this side, I don't know. And until the new relay box comes, I'm at a bit of a loss. So it could well be the coils. So I've got a fresh set of NGK coils here. I'm going to slap them in today. New relay box with the IPDM, which lives back there. It should be here very soon. It's made it to the UK now, but I don't know where exactly it is. So that should be any day now. But in the meantime, I'm going to take it all apart again, slap these in, put the new plugs back in. They've been soaking. Well, that's the other thing that I tried. I put the old plugs back in just to see whether that made a difference, but it didn't. So the new plugs have been soaking overnight. Going to give them a good clean, get them back in along with these fresh coils. Then if that doesn't work, hopefully it's the IPDM up there. If that's not it, then I'm going to have to park it up, swap the micro for this one, and probably take out the whole engine bay loom and do a wire trace and find out what's going on. So I'll report back in a bit. Wish me luck. Right, I'm all back together, new coil packs in. Sorry I didn't film much of that, it's raining here, so I've just been rushing on trying to get it done. I went for the NGK coil packs. They're about the same price as the Hitachi OEMs, or they were the same price, but these were in stock. I got them from Torken. I'll put a link to Torken in the description. Felt really good fitting them. Like the other ones just kind of dropped in, but these felt I really had to push in on the spring in order to get the 10mm bolt to pull them down. So hopefully they're making a better contact than the old ones were. Because every time I tested them they seemed to work, but I don't know. So I'm going to go and dry out, get a drink, and then come back and try and fire it up. I should have filmed it, but you have to believe me, that started first try. I have got an engine light on and I have got a whole ton of error codes here, so I'm going to clear these and hope that it doesn't die on me. Oh, it died. Right, here we go. Right, we still got codes apparently, so let's retrieve codes. That thinks that there's a code. That doesn't think there's a code. Right, I'm going to look into those codes and see what's what. Also have another look under the bonnet just in case there's something I've missed, but that's gutting. So I've also got some errors on the TCM module, so I'm just going to clear these. That's still on there. Right, let's keep going. more stuff. Can common circuit. Clear codes. Still not happy. There it goes. Okay, more codes. Wow, it's unhappy. Okay, so this one isn't going, and I've never seen it before. I'm just going to pause to get a photo of these.